Rolling with the homies.
Be careful, Ed's dancing mood today.
Hey, everybody, welcome back.
Dancing.
I feel like it's been forever since I last saw you. Oh, wait, it's only been a week.
Oh, that can feel like an eternity.
Hey, this is Chris.
Hi.
This is Ed. We virtually taste wines with you. For those of you who can't be with us here in person every Thursday night in downtown Mount Airy at Old North State Winery. We do 4 wines from around the world every Thursday. Chef Chris here makes delicious treats to go along with them, so you understand how food and wine relate to one another, how they really enhance one another. And we talk a lot, and we have a good time. If you can make it here on Thursdays at 6 p.m., we'd love to see you. If you can't, pick up your tasting packet. You should have these two bottles of wine and some delicious treats that Chris is going to tell you about here in just a moment. So we're going all America this time. We've been all over the world here lately, so always nice to circle around. We're going to be on the West Coast, and boy, Chef, we've been doing a lot of at the chef's table lately. We haven't had a chance to talk about some of the wines that we've done there, and we're going to talk about one of them right after this. But we do sprinkle in quite a bit of California at the chef's table.
True.
That is something we do. I don't know if that always translates to our videos. We do so many more wines here than we do on video. Like I said, we do 4 here for the tasting, and then we have 8 courses at our chef's table on Friday and Saturday night. So I don't always, maybe don't
It's
have
not
a great,
always the same 8 wines from Friday to Saturday.
That's true, and some,
You know.
some weekends we'll have
Some weekends
16.
we have to tweak it on Saturday.
That's right. So anyway, I just feel like, we need to, I'm always like, something will pop in my head. I need to say, okay, I need to talk about this place. And so we're going to talk about this place. Chef, this I know is one of your favorite places, Paso Robles.
Oh, what a treat.
We've been a
Thank
fan
you.
of this region for so very long. It's now the fastest growing region in California. And this is from Ancient Peaks. Now, I've been using their wines for longer than I care to admit because I'm old. I hate telling people how old I am, but this is they make great varietals, including Zinfandels and Chardonnays and Cabs, all kinds of delicious
It was
things.
a top seller. That Ancient Peaks cab was a fixture at Trio.
Yeah, and at Old Mill back when they were doing good stuff. Sorry, that was a little jab back there. Anyway, so we have here their Renegade, which is a beautiful blend of Syrah, Petit Verdot, and Malbec. And these are, this to me, Chef, I always think about this area as probably being one of the most diverse grape area, meaning in terms of varietals that you see showcased in Paso Robles. You never know from producer to producer what's going to be produced there. I think that's great in terms of creativity.
Yes.
And their experimentation and finding, what's going to be best for this area.
Well, you've got to love it. The creativity in this region, it always stands out to me. Creativity doesn't have to be the enemy of discipline, but you think of the big Russian River, Napa, Sonoma. They seem very disciplined. They have to have these perfectly done cabs, and everything's just so. And I'm not saying that they're not creative, but the Paso Robles crowd down there, they seem to be like, well, let's push the boundaries. Let's see what we can do. They're not as rigid, I guess.
Sure.
And that's not to say they don't make disciplined,
Right.
very technical wines. It just seems they're more whimsical.
I agree, Chef. You have Grenaches and, freaking, it just doesn't
Their
matter.
Grenache there, so
Sangiovese.
nice.
Who cares? We're going to try it.
We're gonna try it. Maybe it'll grow here.
Well, the Chef, let's talk specifically about this because this is what the people got in their bags there at home when they came to pick up their to-go kits. And boy, on the nose, You know, really not showing you a lot of what you're gonna get, but once you dive in, you are rewarded.
That is a big one.
And it's humming in at what, 14 plus?
I believe it.
14 and some extra change. Holy moly, 14.9. Luckily, it's not 15%, right?
Oh, that would really ruin
It'll be
our
a deal
afternoon.
breaker, right? So you have a big wine, just like Chef was saying, but I tell you, it doesn't drink hot.
No, it doesn't have not a bit, which is, I was surprised.
Mm-hmm.
You know, although I've got to say, I'm intrigued here. Look at that percentage, Chef. 35% Petit Verdot. Now, to me,
That's a lot.
outside of France, you know, Petit Verdot, they put in 3% for color.
Sure.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, that is not, it has a larger percentage than does the Malbec.
Yeah,
And
Chef.
that, when we're talking about creativity and
Mhm.
pushing boundaries,
Yeah.
I mean, no, people aren't doing that. You know, they're doing 40% Malbec and just another Petit Verdot to
Sure.
maybe give it a little roundness, a little color.
It's
But
often, it's
I
often
think
used.
that's toning.
Mhm.
I think that's toning the alcohol. I mean, even though it's 15%,
Mhm.
I feel like the Petit Verdot is calming this wine down and it not letting it kind of run
Yeah,
wild.
or
run
raising
wild.
up to
Yeah,
the level.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe raising up.
Making it more elegant drinking rather than just like,
Sure.
rah.
Yeah,
you know.
absolutely. And, you know, my guess is that this would have some ageability to it because of this high alcohol content, and there's a decent amount of tannins here too. Petit Verdot is a funny little beast there. It is, like Chef said, often used really to enhance a wine, and you're seeing more and more people out there trying to see what you can do with it. You have to harness its power, its intensity for sure. Wow, but you know, let's look at this color here. You know, it sure looks like Syrah. The Syrah is really showing. You know, just on visual, I'm like, man, this looks like a great Syrah in glass. And but the Petit Verdot does show quite a bit here.
Oh, it really, really does, but I think in a very good way. I mean, it's, I think it's really helped soften the edges on this. Because Syrah, get away from you. It can be super jammy. This to me is much more dry than fruity.
There's
surprisingly.
that beautiful, like, that essence of fresh pepper. It's not like it's peppery on the palate. There's like this just kind of backbone essence of pepper. Maybe that pepper aromatic, if that makes sense. And that roasty kind of, I always get that kind of roasty fruit from Syrah. And of course, Petit Verdot has that kind of, that little bit of wildness that you're talking about, wild fruit. And just brings out, I guess the Malbec here, more about bringing the fresh fruit up. You know, that's one of the things that I love about Malbec. It always, for the most part, except for, you know, if you have a 10-year-old, most people don't, the fruit always tastes really fresh.
Really fresh.
And so you've got three interesting, you know, like, you know, we talk about in our restaurant team, you know, how building a team, you know, team chemistry, and how, you know, it's not necessarily about the talent of each individual, but it's how they all come together to make a better team.
And their comfort level, you know, I mean,
Right.
you don't, say you have someone who's really talented at this thing. Well, don't ask them to come over here and do something.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think, and then it's just for the sake of experimentation. I mean, you know, like, well, let's see if we can get so-and-so to be better at this wine.
Yeah.
Let's find someone who's good at that to do that. And, you know, and you know, sometimes it can really be counterproductive to, you know, and frustrating for people. You know, you want your team to be happy and flourish.
Right.
And I think sometimes trying to ask too much of them outside of their comfort zone, you got to do baby steps.
Absolutely. Well, this team of three grapes here is they're playing great together. They're really lifting each other up,
They certainly are.
and I think that makes for just a wonderful blend. And you know, again, we're talking about a sub $30 bottle of wine. Once again, that's kind of what we do here, and I just feel like there's a place for this, and anybody's home is a fan of the kind of bolder reds.
Yeah, and I'm getting some molasses. I'm
Yeah,
getting a lot
big
of
time.
white pepper on that. Kind of like when you put molasses on like a biscuit with country ham. You know, those country hams, you get that white pepper, and you can get them the spice. It's really really nice.
Absolutely. And, I would say kind of going towards the jammy side of things.
But and look, I think this is interesting here on the, when we talk about these things, I hear you talk about this a lot at the chef's table. But it's normally reserved for like the Loire Valley and
What
things
is that
like
you're pointing at, Chef?
where it says ancient seabeds and shale. Normally we're talking about white, we're normally talking about Sauvignon Blancs from New Zealand or from the Loire or from Portugal. It's interesting to see this accentuated on a red.
Yeah.
Because you don't normally hear that kind of talk.
Yeah, and so it's just that's really great labeling to help,
Excuse me.
to help people understand the importance of soil to why Paso is going to be continuing to grow and continue to dazzle us with great wines. Chef, I always think about those wine dinners we did with 4 vines. And,
Oh gosh, amazing.
yeah, those were great times experimenting with the Zinfandels from that area. The area was really kind of really locked in on Zins, but now the area has just really exploded with so many different varietals. Don't get me wrong, their Zins are great.
They are great.
And like I said, Ancient Peak Zin was a mainstay on my menus for years.
Well, they have a lot of different character than those Central Coast Zins too. They were really, really expressive. Not, I didn't think that the fruit was the whole story.
Yeah,
On the Paso Robles Zin.
I totally agree. Chef, what kind of food we talking about
Oh,
here?
we're doing. This is gonna be nice. They got the Carolina Moon back in.
Nice.
Yeah, local brie style cheese from Chapel Hill Creamery. We love it. You can taste the grass in it. Just a real elegant, fatty cheese with this, and we're really going to enjoy it. Certainly, we're going to put some charcuterie around this as well. We're going to have some prosciutto and some olives and nuts, and I think it'll be a real nice offering with that.
Oh yeah, I think, surprisingly, of all those things listed, I'm really looking forward to the olive component here.
We love olives.
Yeah.
With this, don't we?
Yeah, we really do. Well, that was a great showing from a producer that has been around for a while.
For good reason, right?
Yeah, they were very much an entry-level type of winery, performing as far as price, not quality. And just see that they just keep getting better and better, and still incredible value with Ancient Peaks, everything they do. Kudos to them, and keeping great wine affordable, and that's easier said than done. All right, so we're gonna go visit one of our friends up in Washington State. Now, we've done some Novelty Hill. We did their RSR Red Blend, and that was really well received. But I wanted to show you some things that we do at the chef's table for our multi-course meals. This is a Mike Janik production as far as winemaking, of course.
Thank you.
And we are huge fans of him. He's considered one of the great American masters of merlot. And of course, when you think merlot, you have to think about Washington State. California used to be really known for producing merlots. You just don't see them much anymore, unfortunately. There's cabs driving their train in Chardonnays, and of course, now you get down into the southern part where the Pinots are really taking off too. But Merlot, it's just not getting the love it once did. But Washington State, forget about it. These are, in my opinion, this is a state that has really latched on and taken this grape to the heights that it deserves. And some people would say, this is the kind of Merlot that drinks like a cab. So we're talking more about, like in Bordeaux, where the merlot grape and the cab grape are held at equal regard. They're blended together. Different percentages depending on which side of the river you're on, left and right bank. And so merlot is a noble grape. It is an important grape. To be honest with you, it was merlot that really taught me what fine wine could be and should be on my palate. It was like, oh, I get it now. Now I understand why people spend money on wine and not on, was it Boone's Farm, which I may or may not have been drinking. No.
They got the job done.
Yeah, it did. It was
that
about
sugar gave you the headache.
It was about getting the job done. And you know what? Wine should be more than that. It shouldn't be about getting the job done. It should be about an experience, an elevation, not just getting hammered. But the hammered part does come.
Well, I mean, I think that comes in handy. And especially the warmth it gives you, you know?
Yeah, it's cold down here in the barrel room. Go ahead and tell you.
I mean, just across the board, you drink you get the wrong whiskey, you get into the beers. It's a different kind of, it's different. Some of them fire you up, and I don't know, I like the way wine is. It just kind of gives you the warm fuzzies.
Tasty.
The warm fuzzies.
Well, this is a real treat again. We're talking about a real elevated experience in Merlot, in my opinion. Wow, density of flavor, not overwhelming, which I really like. This doesn't have like a big peak. It's just solid all the way through. Long finish as well.
Oh boy, you talk about a balanced wine.
Yeah.
I mean, Janet wines are very polished, very elegant, very structured, and this is all those things. I mean, this is it's really impressive. Really impressive.
There's a lot to talk about here.
When everybody says, that, Washington State's next, that's the place. Their cabs, their merlots, the high-end wines.
Sure.
And you start to see, that's why you, like Leia Cole and all these things. I mean, they're finally getting their due.
And I gotta tell you, great Cab Francs from up there too.
Ooh, boy.
Man.
Now we're talking.
But, let's talk about, the significance of Washington State, where it's located. We're talking about an area that gets 2 full hours more sun than Napa or Sonoma at the peak of the summer. These grapes are getting drenched with sun. And of course in the winter they're not, but who cares, because they're dormant. The vines don't really care about winter as long as they're not so cold that they're passing away.
I've heard too, really on that note, that you hear farmers talk about how many snows fell on their crops in the winter. They're dormant crops. Well, apparently snow packs more minerals and more vitamins than rain.
Right.
And don't ask me the science on that.
Right.
But the farmers I deal with, they talk about why the crop was so good this year.
Sure.
It had 3 snowfalls on it. And the way that the snow melts and seeps in, the way it captures everything and puts it into the root.
Sure.
I think there's something to that. I mean, well, clearly there's something to that.
Yeah.
I mean, it can't just be, carrots that benefit from that. All
Right.
living things.
Right.
And so, they have an advantage that a lot of areas won't see snow on their
Sure.
on their crops.
And what Chef's alluding to is that this area has a rain shadow. I mean, it doesn't get hardly any rain at all. It's almost desert-like in a lot of ways. I mean, in ways, it doesn't get a lot of rain.
Right.
But the Cascade Mountains are almost always snow-capped. That beautiful snow-capped melt that comes down with alluvial streams, which they can irrigate all these vineyards with. And that's the good stuff. So
that is the good stuff, and there's nothing that can compare to it.
Right. Well, that's the magic of this area. That's why you see big name producers that are established buying up places. land in Washington State because, even, there's so many reasons why, but also, even with climate change, that area is going to be, in my opinion, even more desirable.
I agree. I completely agree.
There's going to be certain areas that aren't so great, and there's new places that are going to evolve and change because the Earth's always changing, and that's why they're doing great bubblies now in Great Britain that they couldn't do for the last 1,000 years. But they did have great wines before that. It's cycles in some areas.
There's winners and losers in every cycle.
Absolutely. But then there's some places that are always going to be great no matter what. I think that's kind of when we look at, what we call the old world of, France, Portugal, Spain, Italy. Those areas are always going to be producing wines. Yeah. They seem to be out of the fringes on that. But, Britain's a great example, and I really do think there's going to be some other places that kind of get opportunity that didn't before.
Well, that's what you hear, one of the advantages of a warming planet, or at least in areas, is the coffee production.
Right. Yeah.
You're getting people who can grow coffee now who never could.
It always had to be had to be Central America, South America,
and Africa.
And Africa, of course.
But now, and what they're saying is, good or bad, the coffee only grew in impoverished areas.
Right.
And there was a lot of abuse and things like that. And so
they weren't getting paid fair
They weren't
wages,
getting paid, and all these things. And so now that you're seeing, other areas that can now, grow coffee and cocoa and these things that that's going to be a great benefit.
Sure. I hope that during this climate change that we get less rain in North Carolina. I know not everybody wants to hear that, but for winemaking purposes, we really struggle with the too much moisture, and if we could get more consistently dry in the fall, like that. August, September. I know August.
The farmers hate those wet falls too. It's not just the grape growers.
Yeah, but I mean, if we could, our wines would elevate dramatically quickly. It's just too much moisture here. That's why we have to struggle with production. But that could all change in a year or two, right?
I mean, don't buy any green bananas. It could happen right away.
That reminds me, we went to the grocery store, me and Lisa did, and she bought 6 of the greenest freaking bananas I've ever seen. I'm like, oh, great. I wanted bananas in April. Right. That's great. Way to plan ahead.
Thanks.
I might not live to see those.
We don't have time to be buying green bananas.
Well, Chef, you wouldn't really know what it's like to be my age.
No, I can't. In fact, my wildest
because
dreams.
You're a mere 50, where I have been around the block. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you're the elder of the village.
51 years old. 51.
And your wisdom.
Can you even wrap your brain around?
Oh, you need an abacus to calculate these things.
Well, Chef, we've got this world-class merlot. We've got a world-class chef. How do those come together?
Oh gosh, that's a lot of pressure.
No pressure.
We need to find a world-class chef first. So we're gonna do some beautiful Margaret duck with this. I mean, when I think of merlot, I think duck.
Yes.
And I'm gonna do some orange and balsamic poached golden raisins.
I love it.
I think that's gonna put some great acid and fruit and fat beside this glass, and it's gonna love it.
And you're all spoiled.
Yes, as it should be.
Yes, and that's kind of what we do here. We want to make everybody happy. So any of you out there that have any ideas of something that you would like to hear about from us, whether it's food related or wine related or, I don't know.
Ramble related,
maybe we'll have a baseball season to talk about. I don't know. Something to talk about, you want us to talk about, we'll be happy to do it. Happy to field any questions.
Taking all subjects.
Remember to let all your friends and family know about our little video, because one day when we have not 30 viewers but 40 viewers, man, that'll be.
It's another level.
I'll be able to rest easy in my grave knowing that 40 people saw this rather than 30.
Can we do that in a week?
In a week. Can you do it in a week? Well, we always enjoy seeing your faces here in person. And even if it just is a few moments when you're picking up your to-go order via curbside, that means the world to us too. So, but when you're ready, we'd love to have you back in the building. And if you're never ready, well, gosh, darn it, we'll just keep doing virtual, and I'll see you when I see you. Thanks for everybody for watching. We'll see you next time.
Have a great weekend. Thank you.